On Friday, the 1st of November 2019, we boarded the Majestic Princess at Sydney Harbour for our sail to New Zealand. Sydney Harbour is incredibly busy, with tour boats and ferry boats going in all different directions. It is also famous for two things. One is the bridge, which those with the nerve and a head for heights can climb, and the magnificent firework display on New Year's Eve. The other, of course, is the Opera House, designed by an architect from Denmark. The Opera House is a multi-venue performing arts centre visited by more than 8 million people annually and is one of the world's most distinctive buildings. After leaving Sydney Harbour and a beautiful sunset, at 5:30 the next morning, we entered the territorial waters of New Zealand, and shortly after, we were cruising down the stunning landscape of Milford Sound. Fiordland National Park is the southwest part of the South Island of New Zealand. Milford Sound runs 9 miles inland. At the mouth of the fjord are sheer rock faces rising almost 4,000 feet. Average rainfall is 252 inches per year, which makes it the wettest part not only in New Zealand, but one of the wettest in the world. Captain Cook was the first European to visit in 1773, and he was followed by sealers and whalers who formed the first settlers in New Zealand. Dunedin is a cultural oasis and is nicknamed the Edinburgh of the South. Dunedin railway station was designed by George Troop. It earned him the nickname Gingerbread George. In the early days, the station was New Zealand's busiest, handling up to 100 trains a day. Unfortunately, due to the reduction in train transport, only a handful of trains use the station today. New Zealand has all kinds of waterfalls, but back on board, it's the Champagne Waterfall. And of course, the perennial photo op. The next morning we were up early because we were taking a small minibus on a wildlife tour. And for all the overcast skies, the views were spectacular.
Now you will see them hanging out with their ducklings there. The males typically stand watch and play guard while the female leads the ducklings around. I've seen the males chase off hawks and falcons before, any other birds that get close. They are pretty decent size, so they can get fairly aggressive. Now these ducks do supposedly mate for life as well, so this is probably the same pair we saw last season out here.
The RoyalAlbatross Breeding Conservation Centre sits on a rugged headland. It is the only mainland albatross colony in the world. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see these magnificent birds with their 10-foot wingspan, as they were nesting and could not be disturbed. But we did see plenty of seabirds incubating their eggs. Leaving the raucous noise of the birds behind, we headed for the tranquility of the coast. From a concealed viewing point, we were entertained by the New Zealand fur seals. This area has been a success story in recolonisation, as they were hunted to extinction by European seal hunters last century. Fur seals are recognised by their external ear flaps, and hind flippers which rotate forward, allowing them to move quickly on the rocks. We were so lucky to see the young ones at play. It was a heartwarming sight. Climbing down to the beach, we came across the sea lions, also making a comeback to mainland New Zealand after being eliminated by the Maori hunters centuries before the arrival of the Europeans. They are gregarious animals, and while they are enjoying each other's close company, a lone penguin, after feeding in the ocean, makes its way up the cliff to feed its young. And higher up on that very same cliff, another young one is looking for Mama and its dinner.